Welcome to the 5% Club with your hosts Maria Mejia and David Pataki as they dig deep into what it takes to start, grow, and take your business to new levels. They do this by demystifying common mistakes, roadblocks, and pitfalls by handing you strategies, tips, and hacks. Get your pen and paper ready because here they are.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 5% Club. For like a half a second, I totally forgot what it was called. My name is Maria Mejia. I am your imported accountant, and today with me is our special guest once again.
Alicia Pridham.
Yay, Alicia's back here with us because I wanted Alicia back. She's always fun to talk with. And her youthful experience always helps me. So thank you so much, Alicia, for being here with us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Alicia is our bookkeeper here at your Financial Success Matrix. So I am excited to hear her wealth of knowledge that she's going to be sharing with us today. So we were discussing about different topics to talk about today. And something we both kind of wanted to talk about was having work-life balance when it comes to being either employed or self-employed. So most of the time on this podcast, it's geared towards people who are, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, but something that, we also need to keep in mind of, even if we are the business owner in a corporation, every now and then we can sometimes feel like an employee of that corporation. So, you want to take it away, Alicia?
Sure. So I was thinking we could start with talking about the traditional corporate world, working in an office, and how to balance your work and your life. It's something that can be difficult. People can get into that habit of being, a workaholic or just so driven that they kind of let some of the other aspects of their life, they don't give them as much attention as they maybe could. And sometimes that catches up to them and they realize, I'm not happy. I'm working very long hours. I'm never home. I don't get to see my family, my friends. I don't do as much stuff that makes me happy. So that's something it's important to really think about and figure out how you can make changes if you find that this is something you're struggling with in your life.
Yeah, because not everyone can be an entrepreneur. And once they get tired of work, they're like, oh, I'm hitting the road. I'm going to do my own thing so I can have all that free time. Obviously, those people who have to stay in the corporate world do need to find that balance. Like if you're feeling burnt out now, well, how do you think your family is feeling? Where can you make that time for your friends and your family? Because even if you're an introvert or an extrovert, you still need that close relation to help, recharge you for the week ahead.
Yes, exactly. So some tips that can help you if you find yourself in that situation. The first thing you should do is just pause, think. Reflect on what's going on in your life. Reflect on what areas you want to put more focus in or you want to prioritize. And once you've had a chance to really think about what is important to you, then connect your emotions with those thoughts. So it's important to realize, it would make me very happy if I could spend an extra hour a night at home with my family. Instead of getting home at 6 o'clock, or let's say 6:37, I'd like to get home 5:36 and spend that extra hour. And that would make me really happy. And once you realize what aspects of your life you need to improve that are going to make you happy, it's also going to help your work life. It'll make you more productive, right? So yeah, that's the first kind of area to start with. Once you have connected with those emotions, it's important to, kind of what I touched base on already, rethink your priorities. Is it a priority to be spending those extra hours at work, or is it a priority to spend a couple extra hours with your family or with your friends? And then once you know what's important to you, then you can start to think about alternatives, ways that you can make that work in your life, right? Maybe that means time management, a little bit more time management that will allow you to have that extra free time. And once you do then have those alternatives, implement those changes.
For sure. Something that comes to mind as you were talking there is, yeah, like what's your priority? Is, working an extra hour, earning that $20 to $50 worth more than spending an hour at home watching your kids while your partner makes dinner or while they prepare, you're there for the nighttime routine of your children? Because are those memories worth more than an hour at work, And having that emotional connection, we all love our partners, we all love our children, even if our children are fur babies, we still love them. We want to spend time with them. So having that emotional connection, being like, okay, my love for my family is more than the 20 bucks that I'm going to earn at work.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's something that you have to continuously think about because your priorities can change all the time depending on what's going on in your life and what is going on in the people around you in their life as well, right? So as your kids start to get a little older, maybe you can rethink about it again and say, I think I can now take that extra hour. You never know. You've got to constantly be thinking about what's important to you and how to make that work in your life.
Yeah, something that me and my husband were just actually recently talking about is that we want to, now that restrictions are loosening up here in Canada,
Yay!
We want to take a train trip down to New York just to see the sights and things like that. But we know that, that's going to cost a little bit more since we haven't been taking a vacation. And so, we've both agreed and we've acknowledged that he's going to need to spend more time at work. He can't take a large break in the summer because he's a childcare worker. He can't take a break when the kids are off of school. He's going to have to work that time. That way we can afford a vacation during the summer when he is able to take a break. So we've prioritized, we want to create this lasting memory over a couple of days. So we're going to have to sacrifice a few days together so he can generate that income to, make those memories.
Right, exactly. Sometimes those priorities do involve working more so that you can get that time off. Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like you've already got a good handle on prioritizing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really works when it comes to, communicating with your partner and your family. Like you can say for yourself, oh, this is my priority. But if your partner doesn't have those same priorities, then there's going to be conflict in that decision that you do. So his priority is, buying comic books. That's what gives him joy. But that is most definitely not my priority. So I'm like, okay, you're going to have to do a little bit extra at home for comics to be a priority for me.
Right.
Yeah. So how's that different? Because, before Corona, people were working in an office, but now, due to COVID and things are actually starting to open up now. But due to COVID, people are having to work at home. Does that change kind of the mindset and how we make a work-life balance? Now that we're all working from home, there's probably a little less balance going on.
It definitely can. It brings a whole different set of challenges, right? When you're working at home, it's a lot easier to end up working outside of your regular work hours, which in some ways means you could end up working more than if you were working in the office. You definitely have to make sure you have a few things in place so that it can be successful working at home. And for a lot of people, it's a change for them, so they're not really sure how to juggle it at first, right?
Yeah, so Usually when people, go to work, they have that half hour to an hour if you have a long commute to kind of get in that mindset of, okay, I'm going from being asleep in my nice warm bed, eating breakfast at home to an hour in traffic to get to work. So they have that long time to kind of change their mindset and to start thinking and focusing on work. But if you're working from home, like what are some ways that people can adjust their mindset in the short time between getting out of their bed to the kitchen table where their office is?
Well, I can give some personal experience with that because I work at home, as do you. And this is something that was new for me. So, kind of what you touched on very first there is having a designated area to do your work in. So, for me, it is my kitchen. It's not its own separate room, but I always work at the kitchen table. And for me, when I'm in this spot, I know, okay, this is my workspace, right? Um, it's important to have that set up for yourself, and that helps with your mindset for sure. Another way to kind of change your mindset is getting dressed for work. It's so easy to stay in your pajamas. I mean, I'm sure we've all done it.
Guilty.
Yes. And some days, that just feels the most comfortable. However, if you're trying to get into that work mode, that can really help. Changing your clothes, just putting in that little bit of effort that you would if you were going to an office, it can kind of boost your mood a little bit and get you ready for work.
Yeah, I can definitely, sometimes what you wear is, what your mind's going to be focusing on. For people who go to church on Sundays, you always dress nice, the Sunday best, as it's called, and so you get in that mood, you get in that mindset of, going to a religious service. Whereas if you go to like a wedding, you always dress, really nice, really flashy because, you just want to have fun. It's a wedding. That's a different outfit than, if you are going into an office at work, business casual, you're in that mindset of, okay, I'm interacting with other people at my same education level, same skill level. And so having that outfit for work is definitely contributes to your mindset.
Exactly. Dress for success, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
When I was in school, we had a professor. I don't know if it was a professor who said it, but somebody during school told me, you got to dress for the position that you want to have. So you might be, an entry level data enterer, but if you want, that managerial or even CFO position, you got to dress for that. My brother's a great example of that. he's just a random, photographer, but he always dresses really nice, like a successful businessman. That's what he dresses. And we even make fun of him because, we dress like hobos in our family. So we're like, oh, you just think you're so cool. You're so flashy. You always dress so nice. But everyone treats him like he has that education, like he has that prestige already. And so, how you dress not only affects, your own mindset, but if you are potentially meeting with other people like over Zoom, it will help their mindset as well. And they'll take you more seriously.
Exactly. Yes. It's important. Psychological, get yourself in that mindset for sure. Some other tips that can help you separate work from life or home in this case, since we're working from home, is to communicate with your employer, or if you're self-employed, communicate with yourself, I guess.
Self.
Right. Note to self, I need to set boundaries. I need to set work hours that I can communicate with the people I work with. And we know this is when I'm available. This is when I intend to do all of my work. And I can't just leave my office at the end of the day and come back to that email tomorrow. Or, that's something that really helps you cut off at the end of the day. If you have those boundaries, and they're known boundaries, right? So the people you work with understand when you're available and when your mind is focused on work.
hmm So, that kind of goes in with, entrepreneurs who have to set their own, timetable, time schedules. When I started my first business, when I was thinking of, what times am I going to put on my website saying that I'm open, and, I was thinking, well, if I'm going to have this business, I'm going to have it while I'm, just me and my husband. I'm going to have it when it's, me, my husband, and 5 children. So what are the hours I'm going to be wanting to have to be able to spend time with my family? So I'm like, okay, I'll just do the traditional 9 to 5, good old Dolly. And exactly at 5 o'clock, no matter if someone's emailed me or called me, like I'm just going to put it aside. I'm not going to call people back. I'm not going to email people back after 5 o'clock. And if it's before 9 o'clock, same thing. I'm not going to answer the phone. If someone's calling me before 9 o'clock, they can leave me a message. And at 9:01, I'll call them back and let them know. But, having that cutoff time and letting people know, okay, these are the hours I'm working. Call me between these hours. I'll be here. I'll answer your phone calls and things like that. And having that limitations between, like you said, your employer, as well as if you're self-employed, your clients, letting them know, okay, this is times I'm working. You can contact me via these channels during this time frame. After that, it'll probably be hit and miss if I'll actually answer you.
Right. And that's fair, right? Everybody needs to have those boundaries. So it's completely understandable and fair to have those hours set in place.
Yeah, it's very important because you don't want to, as entrepreneurs, we always think, okay, we got to be working around the clock on our business, in our business, with our clients, when that's not necessarily true. Like you can set your time, like I said, 9 to 5, that's when I'm communicating with clients. But then you can set a time, okay, so between 5 and 6 or 7, whenever it's time for dinner. You can be like, okay, between those hours, I'm be working on my business. I'll be, thinking of social media posts, thinking of blog posts, doing some research for my business, trying to get a loan or something like that. But setting that time aside is definitely important to be like, okay, I'm going to work with my clients at this time. I'm going to be working on my business at this time.
Right. Yeah, having structure.
Very important.
A couple other tips to help you balance. It's important to also kind of ties in with your hours, but take proper breaks throughout the day. So give yourself your time to have your lunch, say in the middle of the day, 12, 1, whatever time you feel is going to work. Make sure you take that time to eat, take care of yourself, and if you need little breaks throughout the day to just refresh your mind, right? You're in your home all day, all night, and
You're gonna have the same 4 walls.
exactly. And you love your home and you love your family, but you do need to take just little moments to kind of refresh your brain, refresh your mindset, and refocus on your work. So that's important too.
Yeah. And, with a lot of people working from home, if your partner, works from home, try and have a time when, you're both off together. That way you can spend that little lunchtime together, acknowledge each other that you guys still exist while you're working. I found that, really helpful with me and my husband because he doesn't work in the middle of the day, and it kind of forces me to get out of my office to take a break because I'm a workaholic. I'll work throughout the whole day and evening if I'm allowed to. But he forces me. He kind of pulls me out of my office. Is like, okay, we're gonna have fun for an hour, and you can't leave until I tell you to. So, have someone there, have some kind of support there, letting you know that okay, it's time to take a break now. Whether that be a friend or family member, or even a notification on your phone. You can set a timer to go off at 12 o'clock, timer goes off, lunchtime. Okay. That's time for you to get up, stretch your legs. On my phone, I have an iPhone. And so iPhone people know that if you have it connected to a watch, it will beep every hour, letting you know that you need to stand up. And so, that's another good kind of notification that you can use to be like, okay, I've been sitting for too long. I need to go stretch my legs for a quick 5 minutes, even if it's just walking around your house. Every now and then I'll just, walk all the way up to the top floor of my house and then walk all the way back down to the basement and then to my office. That's kind of my exercise, making sure that I'm still alive.
Exactly. It's important. It's so easy to get wrapped up in what you're doing. And you are trying to do your best work. You're trying to get as much done as you can. And you enjoy what you're doing. So it's super easy to get wrapped up in that. But it is very important to take those moments, even if it's 5 minutes. Like you said, take a little walk around your house. Step outside for a minute, get some fresh air. Just anything to kind of refresh your brain and continue with your day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or, just have your children barge in on you. That'll definitely make you have a break.
Yes, well, that happens to me quite frequently.
I feel you. I don't have kids, but I have a cat that comes in every now and then and decides to yell at me for just being here. So
yeah, and meowing. I want attention.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. So one thing that you have to keep in mind throughout the whole work at home process is you have to accept imperfection. It is not always going to be the perfect balance. It's not always going to work out the way you thought it was. As long as you're trying your best and you're taking these tips that we've talked about today to try to make it the most successful workspace for you, then you're doing great. It's not always going to be a hunky-dory, glamorous work at home, right? But it can be a really good experience if you put, these tips and plans into place.
Yeah, something that I found, because one of the reason I became an entrepreneur and, work for myself is so that I could I'm a control freak, so I could control, my time, where I was, what I was doing. And yeah, I have, 9 to 5 is my work hours, but I'm also able to make it more flexible depending on my family's needs. So today is a really good example. I'm booked up for the entire day. I have something planned for every hour of the day. But then, one of my family members has to go all the way into the city, and we have 1 working car, 3 drivers, and we're trying to figure out, okay, how the heck is this going to work? Because I need the car later today, but you also need the car right now. And we don't know if the car is going to be where it needs to be at the correct time. And so, taking that time to, figure out like, okay, well, this just happened last night where we figured out everyone needs the car at the same time, like be willing to accept that, stuff happens at the last minute and, just take a pause and, fix that problem, fix the problems as they come up and don't stress about it if you're not able to fix it instantly. Think about, what are some possible solutions? Okay, let's, test them out. Let's try plan A, try plan B. If that doesn't work, could jump all the way to plan Z if we want to.
Right, exactly. Being able to be flexible is going to make such a huge difference in your life if you don't stress over every unexpected bump, right? Mm-hmm. So that's great. I'm also currently dealing with a situation with 1 car because my car had an issue last week, so we're waiting to get that fixed. And we've also had to deal with that this week, and we're making it work. You accept it. It is what it is, and you move forward.
Yep. So, accepting what you can control and accepting what you can't control, and, just not stress over any of it. Be willing to take a step back if you need to. Something that I've always told my family, like if you're feeling really upset and frustrated, take 5 minutes, cool down. Because if you try and make a plan while you're all huffed up, it's not going to be a good plan. you're going to have to fall back on another plan. So might as well make a good plan once you're calm, because then that one will probably work much better.
Right. Get yourself in the right mindset, as we've been talking about this whole time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering if you could kind of, because I've only ever been an employee. I've not been an entrepreneur or business owner. But I know for you, you've had a previous accounting firm, and now you're doing your financial success matrix. And I was wondering if you could give any tips to entrepreneurs specifically on how to kind of balance their work-life situation.
Yeah. So my first step with, doing the work-life balance is talking with my husband, going over the doing the discussion of, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to have crazy hours. I'm going to have unknown hours. Are you okay with that? Are you going to be willing to support me on this journey? Are you going to support me with whatever comes up and not be mad at me because I can't do something right now when you want to do it? So that's, the number one step is have that communication with whoever you're living with, if it's going to impact them. And then, creating that schedule, figuring out, okay, I want to work these hours, but I'm going to have to work more. Being an entrepreneur, I'm going to have to be working on my business after hours, and accepting that there's only 24 hours in a day and you can't work all 24. You got to sleep at some point. And realizing that no matter how hard you work, you're not going to get it all done in one day. So creating that checklist, having those priorities. So most people create a checklist of what they need to do in work. When, I got to do this client's work at this time, I got to do this other client's work at this other time, but also having on that list, okay, my lunch break is going to be at this time. Make sure I spread my meetings out so I can always have that lunchtime with my husband. And I always have the weekends free. I never meet with clients or talk with other business owners on the weekend, because I know that's only going to be for my family. No matter what happens, weekends are always for my family. And so, prioritizing everything, like you've been saying previously, just trying to juggle all those balls at the same time, but, figuring out which ones are more important.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty good handle on what's important in your life. Yeah.
We all try. We're all learning, so.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a continuous process, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Did you have any other tips that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
We've shared a lot of tips so far, and Alicia's done some great research on different tips as well as her own experience. So thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing all of those. Yeah.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's been really great talking with you today, Maria.
Yep. And as we preach on this channel, this podcast is, you got to write it down. Once you have something written down, welcome to the 5% Club. You are part of the 5% of business owners who are on the right track to building a successful business. So whether you write down, what's your plan, what's your to-do list, or you start writing down, how much time or what questions, what conversations do I need to have with my family to have that work-life balance, write it down, and you'll be that much more successful in the future.
Right. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for being here, for watching or listening to us. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, or you don't agree with something, or if you just want to add a few tips of your own, message us at yourfsmatrix.com. We'll be happy to hear from you, or wherever you're listening, leave a comment there and we'll reply as well. And
all right, well,
what's the catchphrase, Alicia?
Success is easier than you think. All you have to do is ask.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. Ask us. You can ask, but ask us.
We got you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here and for supporting us. We will see you and you will listen to us next time. Bye.
Bye.